Hello everyone, we have finally reached the pinnacle question, probably how to learn to play poker. And the high stakes regular Avr0ra is going to help us. Hey Alex.
Yeah, hello everyone. This is basically the continuation of our Q&A series where we answer the most popular questions from streams. How to study, what book should I read, should I buy a subscription for a GTO Wizard? Yeah, those rookie questions that are hard to find answers to. And people maybe want to hear my opinion on this as an experienced player. So we decided to put all of that into one video, and we will have a sort of a tier list, but it's not actually a tier list, remember that please. We just want to talk about stuff and to fill the screen. We decided to make this a sort of a tier list, but it's not.
And yeah, we are going to answer honestly to all of the questions, so we apologize in advance to our sponsors because I know that some of our answers they won't like.
Well, not necessarily.
Well, yeah, some of those maybe they will like.
Okay, let's start with probably the most popular question, or one of most popular questions I get asked all the time. Please recommend us a poker book to read. The problem with the poker books is that they are outdated, all of them. But then people would still ask, please recommend the best out of worst, then maybe people just like to read, like this type of content. Well, maybe they are just used to this type of learning new information, maybe from their previous activity, like maybe if they come from a chess background or other source where books are actually really good. But in poker there are pretty much no relevant books. But still, of course, we can pick the best out of worst, and yeah, this is the site that I found. This is a pirate site. So yeah, I don't recommend this one. You can Google those books for yourself, or you can buy books here, but believe me, none of this money will go to the authors.
Oh yeah, the probability is very low.
So yeah, we do not recommend this site for you, and we're not gonna give you the name of the website. But back to our idea of picking the best out of worst. Matthew Janda, the application of No Limit Hold'em. $18 for the book here. Well, this book I strongly do not recommend because this one has not stood the test of time. I mean, other books, their ideas are still applicable to this day, some of those ideas, but this one, yeah, conceptually it didn't pass the test of time. All these strategic points that he makes here, they also don't work, like 1 minus alpha, what is this?
MDA?
Oh yeah, not MDA, but MDF, minimal defense frequency. That idea that we are supposed to defend a certain percentage of our range depending on the villain's size. Like if he bets a half pot, we should always defend 66% of the time. Well, all of this do not work. This is just garbage. So yeah, I strongly do not recommend this one, even though it is one of the most popular ones. And all of those books have been published before 2015, a long time ago. Or maybe I can recommend Jared Tendler's books. Well, it's not about poker directly, it's about poker psychology. The name is Mental Game of Poker. He was very successful with the first book, so he then published another one. And I'm sure he can make a third one as well, or maybe already have. Anyways, there's nothing scientific about those books. He basically wrote all of those because he is a psychologist himself. And he decided to combine his poker experience with his experience as a psychologist, and he came up with those ideas, but again, nothing is proved, nothing was tested, so there's absolutely no scientific background for all of it. And even if he claims that some of it is scientific, it's not, because people have broken it down many times. However, if you want to read something about poker psychology, well, you can choose these ones. There are some good advices, by the way, but just keep in mind that this is nothing but Jared Tendler's thoughts. No scientific background whatsoever, but still some really useful advices. And yeah, I will be honest with you, I read most of these books actually, but I read each of those at the time it was released. So yeah, I may recommend you Jared Tendler books, but just keep in mind again that he sometimes very confidently states that this is a concept that he came up with and it's scientifically proven, which again it is not, and it's been broken down many times. So it is basically just his thoughts, his vision, and we have a lot of this crap today. I would probably call it a marketing fraud, because he basically came up with all of that stuff. By the way, Brd, have you read Tendler's books?
Oh no, I have not. I have read something in 2014.
Something like Harry Potter?
Oh, Harry Potter, yeah. I wanted to say that not just the books that are outdated, the whole concept is outdated. I mean, if J.V. Jones, for example, decides to write a poker book, he probably would still manage to do that. But now all the poker information is shared through videos, through screen sharing and so on. A voice commentary, but reading a whole foliant of 500 pages about poker, well, nobody does that anymore. The most unpopular questions among regulars today is what poker book are you reading right now? I mean, no decent regular would ever ask you this question. So yeah, I suggest you never even look that way if you really want to study and improve in poker.
Yeah, I agree. And if you still want to read something about poker, like around poker, like poker psychology, even though I was pretty critical about Jared Tendler's books, other ones are simply even worse. These ones are at least somewhat useful. Other ones are not. Like, I don't know, James Sweeney, Dynamic Full Ring Poker. Just don't go there. Don't even touch it. However, there is another one that I would recommend. If people keep on asking me what to read, then okay, let's see if we can find it here. A lot of books. Oh yeah, there it is, Easy Game. Also a very outdated book.
What about Super System by Doyle Bronson?
Yeah, well, this one is also very old. It was written by Andrew Seidman, Beluga Whale. Yeah, I really like this guy. I'm his big fan. Back in the day, in 2009, he was really good. He had his own ideas. He had a very solid poker logic. He even had his own theorem, like reason for betting. I still use it even to this day. Like reason for betting, betting for value, betting as a bluff, betting to steal dead money. He came up with all of it without any software. So yeah, he's a really smart guy. Well, at least this one is not as harmful. But again, 2009. And there were reissues, I believe, the last one in 2013 or 2012, I don't know. You can find it yourself. So yeah, this is probably the best of the worst. So yeah, this one, Easy Game by Andrew Seidman or Beluga Whale, is a good one. I actually read it twice, not gonna lie. Again, back in the day in 2012, when I was reading it, and not just reading it, I ran through all of the content from Beluga. I was really into it. It was really good. So yeah, if you're really craving for a book, you can read this one. And Tendler's books you can also read if you want to, but the other ones I strongly do not recommend.
Well, I have different opinion on this one. The famous one, I never read it, but I still condemn it. I just prefer jumping on a regular's wagon, relying on the experience of other successful regulars, and just avoid the mistake of learning by books. Because now learning by books is the same as installing Windows XP on your computer in 2024. We can just skip straight to the methods that are proven, without spending even a second on reading poker literature. To me, it's just straight D tier.
Well, it is D tier, I agree, but people all the time asking me for a book, like in private messages, in chat, everywhere. And if you really want to read something, you can read Easy Game by Beluga Whale or Jared Tendler books. Those are at least not harmful. And by the way, I forgot to mention that this video is for the beginners, for those who just starting to learn the game. For the more experienced players, probably no new information here, but still maybe you will get something out of it. Okay, we're done with the books. Hope this one is sealed.
The other reason to read poker books is for aesthetic pleasure. Like to read a legendary Super System from Doyle Bronson, to see how people thought about the game back in the day. So yeah, you can read some of those, but only for entertainment, without taking anything that Doyle had to say seriously. Although maybe some of his advices are good, I don't know. Not going to argue against the legend.
Okay, next one is poker streams. The place where you mostly ask all of those questions. First, you have to realize that 99, well, not 99, like 95% of all the poker streams are purely entertainment content. There are different types of poker streams, like some of them are pretty crazy, where people like screaming and breaking their chairs and stuff. Some are like 50-50, sometimes people are very emotional, but mostly not. And the type that I believe I brought to life, where the streamer just comments on his actions, but all of it is entertainment. You may ask him something, you may see how he approaches the game, maybe have a peek at his thought process, but it's really hard to learn the game from streams. Maybe it will give you a little boost to see how a professional player thinks and acts, but you will never know what is the basis for his decisions without doing the work yourself. So yeah, poker streams are not an educational content, or maybe to some extent, but basically it is an entertainment content. Although there are poker streams on YouTube and Twitch also, where people analyze games, analyze tournaments and hands. Well, yeah, this one is more educational, of course. People have time to analyze stuff, have time to discuss everything. Andrei Babisharov is trying to popularize this format of MTT analysis for the beginners. So yeah, this format is definitely more educational than your average poker stream, but still all of those are entertainment first. Anything you want to add?
Yes, I have a different opinion on this one. I believe that streams are just a tool that works. Like books in today's games is a tool that doesn't work anymore. But streams, you can find the really good ones for you. Like for example, Avr0ra streams are not just entertainment, in my opinion. So if you find the motivation to re-watch all of the Avr0ra stream, to analyze how he approaches the game.
Oh yeah, if anyone wonders, I actually paid for this advertising, literally.
If you also listen to all of his answers to chat questions, he actually answers what he thinks. He's not trying to hide anything. And he answers the same way he would answer me if I ask him something about a hand. So yeah, you can actually find a lot of useful information about poker on those streams. I myself found a lot of interesting stuff for me. And I am being totally serious here. I do believe that you can learn from poker streams.
Well, I don't agree. My streams are still entertainment in the first place. New players, they just don't understand what is behind all of those actions. For example, you make a default 20 blinds re-steal in an MTT, and you get like 50 PMs with stuff like, oh, why did you do that? You should have just survived, and so on.
Well, this is not what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say that you can take the approach from the streamer.
Oh yeah, there is point in terms of approach.
And in terms of bankroll management, and that if you suddenly lost a hand with pocket kings against pocket aces, so you had like this unpleasant cooler, you don't have to
go and break chairs like other streamers do.
So yeah, you can just see an example of a good approach that you can use yourself.
Thank you, bro.
And I'm being totally sincere. You can take a lot from Avr0ra streams in terms of approach, and I myself learned a lot from watching Avr0ra play.
Oh, come on, man. I'm blushing already. Thank you. This video wasn't intended to be about my streams.
Well, it's just my opinion, so I think streaming should be like from A to D, depending on what you get from it. Can you learn something from streams? Definitely yes, but will you be able to? Well, it's up to you.
Well, I would put streams to C tier. In the first place, it is an entertainment content. Don't think it's a good idea in the first place to try learning the game from streams.
Well, I didn't lie at all. The opportunity to come to stream and ask a professional player something, well, we didn't really have this opportunity before, come to think of it.
Well, I'm retired already, right?
And to get an honest answer, but still, even if you are retired, it's still good. So I'm not doing anything bad for people watching this when I advertise your stream.
Okay, we can keep this part. Okay, next, also very popular questions. Should I buy subscriptions for PO Solver or GTO Wizard? Again, this video is for newbies. And for newbies, the answer is no. Buying those subscriptions is just burning away your money. To get anything from working with solvers, you have to have a foundation. You have to understand the game logic. Like, for example, why these exact combos we play this way, okay, to avoid being unfounded, let's see an example. Let's say you've purchased a GTO Wizard subscription and you see this strategy. A certain spot, 200 BPs, the spot doesn't matter here, so this gives you basically nothing. Your goal is a newbie to get the basic logic of the game. How do you get your share of the pot? What is your plan for hand? What do you do with top pair, second pair? With different draws. You get nothing from this picture, from this strategy. Like 8-7 offsuit we play as a bet and as a check. And we have these same EVs for both actions. Where it comes from, you have no idea. It will only confuse you. So you will just burn your money. Well, I mean, if you work with a coach and coach give you some insights on how to use solvers and how to get some ideas from solvers, then there is point in getting it, but at the same time, you don't really have to buy the solver. Because if you want to get an idea on how to work with solvers, you have to do it with a coach. It's impossible for you to figure out all this stuff by yourself. So without a person who can explain to you why we both check and bet with 8-7 offsuit and the EVs are the same, you will only confuse yourself. So I strongly recommend to newcomers to not purchase those subscriptions. And the price is quite high. You have to pay monthly. GTO Wizard is a huge business with a lot of advertising, WSOP, Triton, millions of dollars for ads, and everyone thinks he needs it, but no, you don't. Up until mid-stakes at least, you will only get confused using those tools. You need to learn the basic game logic, like why do you do this and that. You have to learn the ranges, how ranges interact, how to make assumptions about other players' game, how to adjust to their game. Poker is a player versus player game, and trying to memorize the equilibrium is a complete waste of time for a newbie. Well, at least in my opinion. And again, this video is for new players. When you are in the stage of your career where you need solver for your game, you don't really need this video anymore. So yeah, this goes straight to D tier. I would even put it behind the books, because reading books, you'll at least get entertained. You will get at least some ideas about mental game of poker, like Jared would tell you, never play when you are tilting. You will at least get some use of it. Or you will learn how to fight tilt. And of course, all of these methods from Jared are just his own thoughts and ideas, but you can at least use it, and GTO Wizard will do nothing but harm. Or any other solver for that matter is harmful for a microstakes player. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. At some point of your career, GTO Wizard will probably become your best friend, but for microstakes, not only it is not helpful, it is actually harmful. So by reading Doyle Brunson's book, you will at least do no harm, like no harm, no foul, right? But using GTO Wizard in the early stage of your career might lead to some confusion. You need some fundamentals. You need to build a strategy that is simple and understandable and at the same time solid. And you have to understand it first and foremost. But GTO Wizard will not help you with that. And to back up my words, I will give you two examples. And believe me, I've been through all of it myself. I can give you two examples of how a GTO Wizard can destroy both your attack and your defense. There is this very famous rule of thumb for microstakes. When you are in position and with initiative, you should bet a lot. You should bet even more, in my opinion at least, than what GTO Wizard recommends. And in many spots, GTO Wizard will check some combos you are supposed to bet, in my opinion again, on microstakes. So by lowering your aggression on the flop, you will actually lose some EV. So yeah, first of all, if you follow the GTO Wizard advice, you will play more passively than you're supposed to. Second of all, and this is a really big one, according to Wizard, you're supposed to defend more. And this is a big problem. If you defend all of these combos GTO Wizard suggests on NL10, you are doomed. You have to realize that playing microstakes is nothing but adjusting to the field.
Yeah, but at the same time, a GTO Wizard or any solver for that matter is a necessity, absolute necessity for a high-level player. And it works completely different here than in chess, for example. In poker, when you're building your foundation, when you're getting to know how the basics work, how you make money, how you outplay the weakest opponents, and so on, the advanced poker software will only get in your way. And this is my honest opinion. I have no reason to lie to you here. So it's likely going to break your game instead of improving it. Okay, next one for the beginners is private coaching. And private coaching is an unquestionable S tier. This is exactly what you need as a beginner. So if you have some extra money, this is the place where you definitely should invest those. Because, again, comparing to chess, there is a lot of information in poker. Like tons, like a whole ocean of information to choose from. Some of it works, some of it doesn't. Everything changes all the time. And the entry threshold, so to say, is very high for poker players. And even if you buy a course, like a special course for the beginners, well, it is still very confusing. So yeah, starting with a private coach for the beginners is the best way to advance in the game. But he has to have some experience of working with newbies. He will give you a step-by-step guide, he will give you a foundation, the one that you really need and the one you can build your knowledge on later. So yeah, for the beginners, private coaching is the best. Group coachings are also fine, but private is the best. And it's not that expensive actually, you don't have to pay $50 per hour or $100 per hour. And some coaches even ask for $1,000 per hour, but those are very narrow specialists. Let's get back to chess again, the easiest example. So you start learning the game, you know the rules, you know a couple of debuts. You don't need like a Grossmeister to coach you at this point. Like pretty much any decent player, any decent coach would be totally enough for you. He only has to know basics and to know how to explain stuff. And the same in poker. This guy has to be able to give you fundamentals, to show you spots where you can outplay your opponents, where people usually overplay their hands, and how you can start playing profitably. Or how you can improve your basics. And again, you don't need Magnus Carlsen for this type of explanation. You just need a guy who knows basics and who can explain it in a way you will understand. And for Russian-speaking players, I would recommend Gypsy Team, not because I'm an ambassador of Gypsy Team, but because it's the biggest forum in a Russian-speaking community. We still have forums here, yeah. And you can do the same on 2+2. You go to study section, you choose the type of game you want to play, like cash in our example. And of course, there is a lot of advertising for different stables and stuff, but still you can find people who coach, like this guy here. He's teaching NL2 to NL5. I have no idea who that is. I click this topic for the first time, but here is his graph and he wants $20 per hour. And there are some reviews, of course, like here the first person says that he does not recommend this guy. And from his post, we can tell if he is good at coaching or not. He just has his graph and stuff, and his review is not good. So yeah, people do communicate here. People leave their reviews, and it is really helpful for you. Let's find another one. Like this was a bad example. Oh, this guy, Celtic. He teaches players from NL10 to NL50. He has 91 pages of replies in his topic.
Oh, Celtic is a very good example, actually.
Well, I have no idea who that is. This is the first time I see it.
Oh yeah, I've seen him, I heard about him, so yeah, this one is good.
Oh yeah, his ad is really well designed, he has a lot of reviews, but he's probably way too expensive. Let's see, the package, yeah, $50 per hour. This is too much for the beginner, so let's find another one. Okay, here we have $7 per hour or free if I like you. Well, free is probably not good.
And who did coaching for Polina?
Oh, it was Vitya, but he was quite expensive. I had to pay $50 per hour.
Oh yeah, that's a lot.
Well, you have like 40 pages here of different ads. Well, okay, let's find one, just to give an example. Okay, this guy, NL2 to NL50. So this guy beats NL25 and NL50 quite comfortably. Very nice graph, okay. Oh, he also wants $50 per hour. But he also have some really nice reviews. Well, even paying him $50 per hour would be definitely better for you than purchasing a GTO Wizard subscription. Well, let's find a guy who is cheaper. Like, okay, Wooden Brain. He is an L25 regular.
Well, it's not that easy to find a coach now.
Oh yeah, it's a little more expensive than I thought. So yeah, this guy has really nice reviews. How much does he want for an hour? No price. Oh yeah, finally, $10 per hour. This is quite cheap, but the reviews are really good, and there are a lot of them. So yeah, find a coach, find out how much he wants per hour, look for reviews, and make a decision. And we just watched cash games only, and there are a lot of ads here, and we also have MTTs, Omaha. And yeah, most of the topics here are pretty live. Oh no, they are not live on the page 3 already. But at least we have 2 pages. Well, I mean, it's enough for you to choose from. And on 2+2, I think you can find even more. So yeah, go over reviews, find a guy who has experience working with newbies, and go for it. It is going to be money really well spent. Okay, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I agree with everything. 2 key moments. First, you have to look for a decent coach. Like, you have to avoid charlatans at all costs. It is the main thing. And you know what? This guy is going to feed you information for some period of time, a very important information. So maybe you shouldn't save money on this one, and $50 is okay.
Well, I should analyze the market. We had like one for $10 and one for $50, and probably there are enough coaches in between. And you have to study the reviews. I mean, of course, coach always asks students to write a positive review, but there are negatives as well.
Well, you can just ask the guy who have posted the review.
Well, yeah, you can DM the guy and say, look, I'm going to work with this coach now. What do you think about it? Do you recommend it? And yeah, people will respond to you. Poker community is really friendly, really nice. This is probably one of the biggest benefits. And with this, we come to the next one, which is working with a partner.
Well, I haven't yet finished on the previous topic.
Oh, okay, I'll let you finish.
Another thing about working with the coach is that it takes time. Don't believe people who say, oh, I started working with him and after 3 sessions my win rate went up 10 BBs per 100. It's not like that. Prepare yourself for a long-term relationship with the coach. It's like with professional athletes. You play for 2 years and you want your coach to be around for this whole time. You can work with him every now and then, but you want him to assess your progress, to correct your study process, and so on. I don't think it's a good idea to take 3 lessons from one coach, 2 from another, to buy a course from the 3rd one, and so on. Just find one that you can actually trust and work with him. And it is also important to find a coach you won't argue with. You should find a coach you can trust completely and allow him to coach you.
Well, arguing is okay, but you have to feel when it's okay. If you hire a coach, then you accept that he is better in poker than you are. So if you don't understand something, you want to ask him to repeat it and to explain it to you. But of course, you don't want to argue with him on some basic concepts. So you either trust him or you want to argue, but you have to make your point. Or you can ask other coaches, other people, if you don't believe him, whether it's right or wrong.
Or you can find another coach.
Yeah, of course, you can change a coach as well. But I think you get what we are trying to say here. If you find a coach, let him coach you. You should keep this paradigm or subordination. Yeah, subordination.
Yeah, he's in charge and you are just trying to get as much information from him as possible. Guys, we have a Telegram bot with live support that can tell you all the promotions in all the rooms right now and how to get the best deal. Besides that, you can also find there 2 poker courses. First is for the players of NL50 and lower, for those who are just learning the game from the very start. You can get it for signing up to room through our bot. Second course is a mix of coaching videos from Avr0ra, Inferno, Avr0ra, and so on. Very well-known coaches. This one is for mid-stakes players. To get it, you have to generate at least $500 of rake through our affiliate. So, welcome to our bot and good luck at the tables.
Okay, since we've started talking about forums, let's continue about Gypsy Team. This forum is very much alive, and besides coaching offers, there are also poker blogs, and you can actually post an offer for different coaches. Let's see. Well, it was like this before. People would just post an offer looking for a coach, and coaches will reply.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Well, anyways, the idea is that you can find other newbies just like you here on the forum. For example, we have a blog forum section, and here let's take a look at blogs for microstakes players up to NL40. And look, it's pretty much alive. The very end of the page and the last post is from November 11th. What is the date today?
13th of November.
So really fresh. All those blogs are very much alive. People respond all the time. Like here, the last post is from 5th of November. So yeah, people discuss stuff, people exchange ideas, people ask each other what courses are the best, what coaches are the best. And of course, it's not necessary to use specifically Gypsy Team. There are a lot of forums, a lot of poker communities, and you can just find the right one for you.
I would recommend to you not only reading different blogs, but also start one of your own. Because it will give you structure, it will discipline you, it will help you make new interesting friends. I don't know a single person who would blog his poker life for a decent period of time and gain no benefits from it. And don't underestimate connections in poker. It is really important to communicate with like-minded people. So yeah, I highly recommend to start your own blog on Gypsy Team or any other forum.
Yeah, you can make it like a sports journal or something like that. Well, let's, for example, take a look at this one, Superhero86. So he tells about himself, he shares his story, he posts some hands. Yeah, it's like a sports journal. He shares his results, he shares his thoughts, he discusses stuff with other people. And it's easy to find a friend here with whom you can then discuss hands, discuss poker, and so on.
Yeah, it's not just for the beginners, and a lot of players who became really successful, who are basically legends now. They also had a blog, like For Haley, Jacer, Stefan. Yeah, a lot of people who went all the way through from the lower stakes to the highest stakes, they had a blog. And you can keep on blogging throughout your whole poker career.
So yeah, this whole talk about blogging is basically another way to find a partner to share hands with, to discuss poker with, to find a friend, basically a poker friend. Like if you don't have a poker friend in the real life, you can always use forums and blogs.
I would also say that it is important to do these two things in combination. I mean, finding a coach and a poker partner or poker friend with whom you can discuss hands and poker on a daily basis.
Well, doing it every day is too much.
Oh, okay, but for me, if you are a professional poker player, you have to study every day. Like at least some theory work you have to put in every single day.
Well, this one is questionable. I, on contrary, would recommend newbies play more. You have to put in some hours, like let's say in a course of a month, you have to work like at least 150 hours. What type of hours is for you to decide. You can even include gym hours in those. It's a kind of a meme already with me, but I really think like that. And out of those 150, let's say you want like 30 hours of theory.
Well, yeah, you can do like half an hour every day. Well, at least go over one hand. Do something.
Well, yeah, for some it's better 1 hour or half an hour every day. For some it's better to do it like 2 to 3 hours, but every other day. The key point is consistency in the end of the day.
Well, yeah, definitely not once every 3 or 2 weeks, because there are people who would mark a hand, and when they come to analyzing it, it's been a month already and they don't remember anything. So yeah, work with your partner all the time and sometimes with a coach.
Yeah, and we went over only cash blocks. There are MTT blocks as well, PLO blocks. And I'm not gonna say that design here is perfect because it's not. And for newcomers who are also new to forums,
yeah, very easy to get confused.
Oh, it's actually impossible to not get confused. Because yeah, Zoomers, they have no idea what forum is, but in the end of the day, if you want to figure it out, you will. It's not impossible. And people do work on that, they improve the design and stuff. And look who's here, top of the day, BRDZ1.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you can't figure out how to use forum, how can you figure out how to 4bet correctly?
Oh look, did you know that you are top 4 all-time bloggers here?
Well, now I do.
And the edges are not that big. I mean, it's really hard to reach Sandrix, but you can totally pass Avr0ra and Slavna Slave.
Yeah, a couple of posts and it's done.
Yeah, it actually is like that, so think about it. Okay, the next one is poker courses. The problem here is that there are too many of those, and it's really hard to tell which ones are good and which ones are not. Because there are some really good courses and there are pretty poor ones. And the advertisement is so aggressive, they will scream everywhere that their course is the best.
Yeah, like crushing meat steaks and stuff.
So yeah, every poker stable has its own course, most likely, and it is kind of a marketing fraud. People would sell those for $50 or $100 a piece and you have no idea if it's good or not. I've watched a lot of courses in my time, and the problem is that they are not, most of them are not for newbies. And even if they say that they are, it's still very confusing. So yeah, in your shoes, I would be really careful at choosing the poker course, and in the end of the day, I would probably recommend you to avoid those for now. So yeah, my honest opinion, don't buy any of those. Even those that our friends advertise all the time, I mean, don't buy any. Even if it's like a $100 course and you have like 50 hours of video, of studying and so on, you just use this 100 and spend it on 10 hours of coaching for this guy that we saw earlier, who wants only $10 per hour. It would be much more beneficial for you, I am sure.
And he will probably in the end give you some of those courses for free.
Oh yeah, he can definitely give you one for free in the end. So yeah, anyways, I sincerely do believe that there is no need for you to buy any of those poker courses. And there are some that are really good from some stables, I am 100% sure. I know that the course from Greenline is really good and the reviews are really good, but you can't buy it. You can only get it if you join the stables. So yeah, in your shoes, I would be really careful about this one. I still give it B tier because there are some decent courses, but you really want to only trust the reviews of real people that you know. For example, if a guy in a blog says that he watched a course and you ask him, oh, what about this course? Is it really good? And he says, yes, this one is really good, then you can try it. So if you have a review from a guy you can really trust, then it is worth the money and probably you will get some decent EV out of that. But otherwise, don't follow the ads. Most likely it's a fraud. Private coaching is definitely better.
I remember there was course Red Line Rampage and every one of us watched it and none of us learned how to play for the red line.
I mean, of course, there are really good courses for advanced players, but for beginners, there's always a lot of information and spending money on a private coach would be 10 times better. And if you still want to buy one, you only do it with the recommendations from the real person, from the person you actually trust, and not from like random ad. I, for example, cannot recommend you anything. Or maybe this one from Greenline is really good. Like this one I would recommend you to watch, but I have no idea how to get it without subscribing to Greenline.
Oh wait, you can still get it through our Telegram bot.
Yeah, but then again, I haven't watched it myself. I cannot recommend it. I only heard some reviews and that's it.
Well, this stuff from Greenline is not a course per se. It's also the problem with it, because a course basically is just a flow of information, and whether you understand it or not, it's up to you. But Greenline is a whole ecosystem, and all those coaches who basically created the course, they will explain everything to you. So it's different. And feedback, I think, is a really important part of the courses.
Well, my position on this one does not change. It is still better to hire a private coach. And the last one for today is stables. Well, stables is definitely A or S tier, and we've chosen Greenline here because they are our sponsors. They pay us some money, so we had to put their name here. But there are a lot of different stables. And there is a very competitive environment between stables on the market. So pretty much everywhere you will get a decent deal, like around the average for the market, or maybe slightly worse, maybe slightly better. You have to study this one for yourself. And the biggest problem of the stables is that you actually have to pay here much more than you would pay to a private coach. Well, the education that stables provide usually is very good because most of the time they are really interested in making you a successful and profitable player, because they put a little tax on your winnings and it's in their interests to make you a winning player as fast as possible. So to some extent, every stable is a guarantee basically that they will try to make you a winning player. However, the problem is that the stables is basically a middleman between a player and a coach. So yeah, to some extent they are the middlemen. This is what they do. They take a student, they bring him to a coach, and for that they take a piece of coach's action and a piece of student's action. So yeah, if you can find a coach through recommendations, or maybe on forum if you can figure out how the forum works and all that stuff, then it will probably be like more plus EV, as we say in poker community, for you to find a private coach, rather than joining stables. However, in stables you don't have to pay upfront, right? If you want to study with a coach, he wants the money right away, maybe before the session, maybe after the session, so it's like $50 or 20 or 10, or there are different options.
Yeah, and you don't know if the coach is good. I mean, they are probably hiring good coaches for the stables.
Well, not necessarily, but we come to this one later. So yeah, in stables you don't have to pay upfront, you pay after, but you have to pay much more. I mean, we have just seen different options, $10 per hour, $50 per hour, $20 per hour. In stables, over time, if we calculate everything, you will probably pay like $50 to $200 per hour, or maybe even $500 per hour. I wouldn't be surprised. And unfortunately, it is not necessary that the coach in stables is good. I mean, if the founder of the stables is a very famous player, it is not necessary that you will work with him directly. It is most likely actually that the other guy is going to do the coaching. Maybe he hired this Celtic guy who wants $50 per hour, and he pays him $50 per hour, but he coaches you and you will eventually pay like $200 per hour. So yeah, pretty much the same if you would just hire a private coach, only you also have to pay to this middleman, which is the stables. Do you agree?
Well, partially, because in a really big stables, in a really good one, the guys are not idiots, and they will hire the coach that will actually bring some results. And for the newcomer, I mean, you just went through all of those topics like this guy is good, this is too expensive, this guy is fine, and so on. And the newbie, he might not even find this topic in the first place, like this section of the forum. However, in stables, everything is much more simple. I mean, yes, you have to pay more, but you don't have to stay for your entire life. Yeah, like you can try it for like 50k hands or 100k hands, and if you don't like it, just leave it. But at least you can get the grasp of the mechanics of the study process. So yeah, I think stables do their job properly.
Well, yeah, of course, nobody arguing that. But my idea is that poker is an individual game, individual sport. And in some sense, if you have an opportunity to get rid of the middleman between you and the coach, right? Between you and the study, you should try to get rid of it as much as possible. Because now they have stables, then we have like managers who find people for stables.
Yeah, and then some hosts who invite you in the game for a kickback.
Yeah, all of this may grow immensely. And believe me, me and BRD, we've been through all of this, and now we can enjoy ourselves more. We play for ourselves, we report to ourselves, and we depend only on ourselves. And if you want to call somebody and to discuss stuff, like I've made a post in my Telegram channel about high stakes battle on coin poker. And the number of middlemen between those who organize the event and those who want to cover it can be up to 8 people. And each of those is getting paid. Each of those is making it look like he's working. So yeah, a lot of money in this. And when you are a poker player, you can get rid of all of this altogether. You can find some poker friends on the forum. You can find a coach. Like you can directly message him, find a private coach for you, and just study and develop.
You can find a partner as well.
Yeah, you can find a partner, and this is like a more of a philosophical thing. But when you do something together with a friend, that really strengthens the friendship. I've been playing poker for 14 years, and all of my poker partners, well, most of them became my really good friends, or like at least buddies. And the funny thing is I have no other friends left because for the man of honest faith, your friends, your real friends, are mostly like your colleagues, the people who are beside you in the work of your life.
Yeah, like we've been on holidays with my old friend Skipper, who is my poker partner as well.
So yeah, number 1 in our list is still private coaching. I mean, you have to figure out how the forum works, you have to find the reviews for every coach, but it's possible to handle all of that. Believe me, it is much harder to figure out courses. Like they promise you that you watch a course and you understand everything. No, it's not like that. Nothing is gonna be explained and you will just lose $100. Yes, you have to go through a lot of stuff in the beginning, like to deal with the forum and with the reviews. And you will have to go through a lot of reviews, but in the end of the day, it is worth it.
Yeah, it's not gonna be easy, but poker is a profession where pretty much nothing is easy. So yeah, be ready for a lot of difficulties, but yeah, pretty much look for a coach, look for a poker partner, and then when you develop, you can start using software and other stuff. Yeah, you will figure it out.
Okay, this would be it. Do you have anything to add?
Nope, that's it.